Hi everyone, I'm Cendril89, and welcome to my analysis and opinions of the Bethesda E3 2016 presser. Bethesda is well known for the games that it has built up over the years: Elder Scrolls, Fallout, the recent release of Doom, which the single-player campaign has met with much praise. The multiplayer, not so much. So, what's Bethesda gonna lead with? Well, it led with Quake Champions. Quake is back. I have really high hopes for this. Quake was the competitive arena shooter. It was what everybody played for a long time. People love Quake, especially older people who played, older Quake games. And arena, go around shooting your friends. It's back. What they're doing with Quake is bringing back that arena-style competitive shooter. The thing that really struck me that they talked about was that there's going to be different characters who have different abilities. So it immediately I started thinking of Overwatch. Is it going to be like that? And it kind of sounds like that's the route that they want to go, which I'm fine with, as long as they balance everything out okay. Like, Overwatch is pretty well balanced in my opinion. A lot of people don't think so. I think it is. Everybody has counters to another character if you just play well enough. If Quake goes that route, I could be fine with it, and it's Bethesda, so I have very little reason to completely doubt whether they can do it or not, just because of their track record. I think they could do a really good job with this, and Quake is back! What is to not be super excited about that? If you liked Quake at all, or you like, first-person shooters at all, or you like shooters at all, I should say. Yeah, Quake! I mean, just get excited, laugh, have fun. That's how they started their presser, and I think that was a fantastic way to start their press conference. After that, they really switched gears and talked about Elder Scroll Legends. The way it looked like to me was a Hearthstone-like. But after the press conference, I learned a little bit more about it, in that it has a 2-lane system. And so think of Hearthstone if you cut the arena in half again. You could put units on the left side or units on the right side, and they can only attack those sides unless they have special abilities. Some special abilities may have them switch sides, like, oh, now I'm on the right. What are you going to do to counter that? Or, hey, I'm going to make your character go from the right to the left. Now I can hit you. That really interests me. Have another layer of depth. I said there's going to be a full single-player campaign, which I'm really excited for. And showed like an opening cutscene to this that you could check out somewhere on YouTube, I'm sure. Said it was going to be later this year on iPhone and Android, and all iProducts, Apple products, like iPhone, iPad, etc., and Android as well. Excited to see where that goes. After that, they talked about Fallout 4. Some add-ons that they're going to have, which really excited for. If you like to build, they are adding in what they're calling their Contraptions Pack, which comes out next week, I believe. It's very soon. It's next week or 2 weeks. It's here very soon. And these will give you kind of things like conveyor belts, elevators, slides, and just a whole bunch more things for you to build with. People can be super creative when it comes to building things with workshop-like tools and in video games, and this just, if you like to build stuff in Fallout, this could give you even more options. So there's that. The next add-on they showed was, I don't remember exactly what they called it, but it's basically build your own vault. So if you played Fallout Shelter, the mobile game where you had your own vault and you put people in there and you assigned them to do stuff and you built how you want to, well, think of that except in a 3D space. In Fallout 4, you make your own vault. You choose how it's built. You choose, what rooms there are. You can, the way that they put it, put people into your vault and experiment with them. Run tests. I think is the other thing they said. So there's that. It looked like it could be a ton of fun. It's basically Fallout Shelter in Fallout 4 with more stuff. Speaking of more stuff, jump just a little bit ahead because it ties in really well. There's going to be a Fallout Shelter update. If you play the mobile game, you play Fallout Shelter, they're introducing a really big update to add in new enemies, new rooms, things like that. Just a really sizable update for Fallout Shelters, what it looked like and seemed like to me. Now, going back to the add-ons, they showed it was really neat how they did it. They showed people walking around and then showed kind of this mascot dressed up in like a Nuka-Cola outfit, and it's called Nuka World, which was leaked. The word was leaked a few days before E3. People were abuzz about it. But it looks like an amusement park. And it says, create your own wasteland adventure. It was something like that. Something about your own wasteland adventure. And you're going to get to run around in this theme park. Said there's going to be a new faction. So maybe you'll get to deal with them. Maybe own the place. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? It's a full story. It's its own side story. So it seems it's probably going to be at least lengthy to some degree. And a pretty big DLC pack for that. And they said that that's the last Fallout 4 DLC, probably. Because they already extended the DLC once with more DLC. So you could see more. They said never say never. Pete Hines said never say never, the CEO of Bethesda. So never say never, but hope I got his name right. I may be mixing up companies, sorry. A lot of notes. But never say never. You could see more DLC from Fallout 4. After that, they showed Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. This is the Remaster Edition. Comes out October 28th. And what it's going to do is, if you have a PlayStation 3 version of Skyrim, or an Xbox 360 version of Skyrim, and now you have a PlayStation 4, this will be a fully remastered version of Skyrim. And it looked ridiculously good. Of course it did. It's Bethesda on an open world game, upping the graphics. Now, if you had mods on the computer, you've probably already got a lot of this, because people, upgrade the graphics themselves, put in texture packs, things like that. But for those of us that play on consoles, this is a very welcome addition. The other welcome addition is that they're bringing mods to consoles. So, if you're playing on your Xbox One, on your PlayStation 4, you will have access to mods if you get this remaster edition. The one other thing that they said was if you own the game and all the DLC, your game will be updated to remastered, or to this new edition on Steam, I think is what they said. I'm not quite sure how all of that was. It was kind of thrown out there, and it sounded really cool, but it didn't. Not exactly sure how all that's going to work. If you own it all on the PlayStation 3, do you get like a PlayStation 4 copy for free somehow? If you have it, digitally downloaded, do you get a upgrade remastered version. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but if you love Skyrim, but maybe you didn't get all the DLC. Also, this comes with all the DLC. By the way, let me say that as well. This special edition, this remastered edition. If you're a big Skyrim fan, but maybe you didn't get the DLC, or you're playing like on an older console or something, I think this could be really worth getting. Because you'll get this new breathtaking graphics, just upped graphics that look amazing. You get all the DLC. You'll get to play with mods for the first time if you've not played it on computer, because maybe your computer's not good enough to run Skyrim. Great. I think it could be really cool. Don't know the price point on that, but October 28th, keep an eye out if you're a big fan of the Elder Scrolls series. After that, they talked about the rebrand/reboot of Prey. If you don't remember Prey, it's an older game now. There was supposed to be a Prey 2. Well, they've completely scrapped that, and now they just have Prey. They're rebranding it, kind of starting over. It looked like it could be kind of a survivor horror / kind of thriller game. It was just a trailer. The trailer got me interested. What's this story about? It intrigued me. So they didn't have anything ready for that really, other than to announce, hey, we are working on this, we're rebranding it, here's this new protagonist guy, and more information later. So there's that. And it intrigued me, at least a little bit. Interested how that's going to play. We don't know anything about gameplay or anything like that, so they just threw that up there to let you know they are still working on it, and they've taken this entirely new route now. Then they talked about Doom Snap Map. Talked about Doom and how they're adding in new multiplayer modes. There's going to be Snap Map updates, which if you don't know what that is, you basically make your own Doom map. You can make your own multiplayer maps and settings and stuff like that. And now they're adding it into where you can make your own levels, like campaign levels, and you set up the triggers and things like that. Could be really interesting. I like that they haven't just, okay, we did super great with Doom, let's move on. People love the campaign, but didn't like the multiplayer, so whatever. I like that they're trying to fix the multiplayer. Like I said, adding in new multiplayer modes. They've added in like a new demon for you to turn into. And they're trying to make the multiplayer better, which I really respect Bethesda for doing that. No talk about single-player DLC, which is sad because single-player was such a huge success to a lot of people that they need to do something with that to me. I haven't had the chance to play Doom myself, but if you haven't, you can play the first level for Doom for free as a demo, which is really neat. I don't know if that's quite out just yet. It was supposed to be, but you know how that goes. Maybe the upload didn't, it didn't get put on the store in time or whatever. But there is that. Look for it if you would like to try the first level of Doom and see if it's for you. The first level is, what I do know is the first level kind of just sets up the game a little bit, so it may not have even been the best demo. Just know that if you like it at all, the gunplay, the pacing, anything, that the game gets so much better from there. So just keep that in mind. I watched my friend Doc play a little bit of Doom, the first couple of levels of Doom, and it just looked like a blast to play. So there's that. They talked about that on Doom. They said, I wish they showed some single-player DLC that they're working on, because so many people liked the single-player. And I like that they're trying to make the snap map thing that they have going on, this build your own maps, even better, add more stuff, and add in new multiplayer modes. So I think that's good. After that, they talked about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I really don't play MMOs anymore. Because one MMO, ever since WoW, feels like WoW in a lot of ways. That's my opinion. But the thing they did with Elder Scrolls Online is that they took a look back over the past year. They had adding in a Dark Brotherhood DLC pack for the console versions, I believe it was. I believe the PC versions have had it for a few weeks now. So, if you like the Dark Brotherhood, you can do that. The one thing that interested me was this fall, they're adding in this DLC pack that you can get called One Tamriel. And what that does is, it's like playing a Elder Scrolls game, what it sounded like to me. There's no level restrictions, no faction restrictions. You can pair up with your friends, no matter what your level or gear is or whatever, and you can go wherever in the world. How I think that's going to work is it'll scale to whoever you're with. Like the enemies will scale down or up to you, I would assume. But just being able to play with whoever, I think is really great. Because let's say somebody I know plays Elder Scrolls Online, has this really burly, awesome character, but I want to play with him. Well, now we can play together with this One Tamriel. That comes out this fall. It'll be interesting to see just exactly how they pull that off. Is it scaling? How different monsters spawn depending on your level? I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it, but no level restrictions, no faction restrictions. You can party with whoever you want and go wherever you want, no matter your level. It may not be a wise decision, depending on how this plays out. Kind of like Fallout version. Like, oh yeah, I can walk wherever. Oh man, I walked into a Deathclaw. That sucks. So, maybe it's like that. I don't know. But I think that's really cool for an MMO to do. And that'll be interesting to see just how they tackle that. After that, they talked about Bethesda VR. This is going to be a theme you're going to hear a lot during the rest of my videos, and for a while to come is VR. The rest of these E3 videos. They talked about two things that they're going to do in VR. They're doing Doom in VR, which it's super fast-paced. I don't know exactly how well it's going to do, but it could be a lot of fun. And this game, I think, is perfect for VR. In 2017, for the HTC Vive, Fallout 4 will be in VR. I think that could be mind-blowingly awesome. Because Fallout 4, you travel a lot anyway, when you think about it. You walk around a lot. It's much slower paced than Doom, even in big firefights. You imagine if you look down, maybe you could be like looking at your Pip-Boy, like actually looking at it, instead of it just being on a screen, and then you like pressing what you want to do. Things slow down in VATS, maybe where you're looking, that's where you aim. When you're just walking around in the Fallout 4 world, traveling from one place to another, you're looking around, seeing the wasteland. I think it's a wonderful game for VR. And I want to see just how well Bethesda does it. Again, it's Bethesda, so there's a really good chance of it coming out well. To some degree, at least. So, really excited to see Fallout 4 in VR. Will I be able to afford it? Absolutely not. Not unless things get, just the channel explodes in the next couple of months or something. I won't be able to afford a VR headset. But for those people that do have a VR headset, I think Fallout 4, whenever they get that fully implemented, will be great. Like they said, 2017. So, I think that could just be a great game for VR, using VR technology. To end Bethesda's presser, their conference, or whatever you want to call it now, was Dishonored 2, which I can tell you comes out November 11th. They have a custom game engine called the Void Engine. The graphics do look better from Dishonored 1. Just the whole game looked pretty good. They said they put a lot of thought into this new city that you're going to be exploring. You're going to start in Dunwall if you know the first game, and they said you're going to end in Dunwall. But the rest of it takes place in this other city, which has a completely new look, and they said they wanted to have the city have a life of its own, basically. How do the people, what jobs do people do? How do they do them? So what kind of buildings are there? How is power done? How's the building structure? They just put a lot of thought into the city. That's what they explained. This takes place 15 years in the future. Also, you will play as Corvo, which you played in the first game, or Empress Emily. Both characters are fully voiced, and you choose which character you're going to take on the journey. So if you really like the first Dishonored, and you end up liking this one, you're probably going to play through the game at least twice. Once for Corvo and once for Emily, just to hear their different dialogue. And maybe play in different ways. Excuse me. They showed a gameplay trailer. In the trailer, there were 2 factions for this mission. And they said that you could choose either, like team up with one of them, and maybe gain, kind of shift the story in that way. Change the ending maybe. Or choose neither, which is in it of itself is its own option. They said that they wanted to have more vertical space, which is good. Also, Emily has a double jump, which is also good. Don't know about Corvo. They showed Emily for this gameplay trailer. More vertical space. I like that. You can, maybe shoot from above, jump down on an enemy for like a surprise attack. There are more options when you add that element of up. They showed off a couple of Emily's powers. They showed Mesmerize, which stuns enemies. They don't even remember you were there, which may also be key. That, you stun them that way, and it's like, okay, and then go about their business. Whereas if you knock them out, if they wake up, maybe they can, or get woken up by somebody else. Yeah, I remember what happened. This happened. And then they call an alarm. Maybe that's a choice. Be interesting to see. They emphasized that for a reason, in my opinion. They don't remember you were there. I think that could be more key than we think, than people think. They said that all the skills, that there were more skills in the game, that Corvo has some additional skills, and some ones from the first game, and that they all have a greater depth to them. Which I like. I want to see that greater depth. I want to see, more, deep progression from the, using that term from the previous press conference. They had this one cool power that they showed off on Emily, was Shadow Walk. She basically becomes a shadow and could go up and rip enemies apart. That was neat, or just kind of use it to sneak around too, I would assume. The power that really blew my mind and took me away was this power called Domino. And the example that they used was Emily put down a stun grenade. Like a stun mine, a mine. And then used her domino power and linked the 3 guards that were in the room. And she was in the room with like the guy she's supposed to be hunting. And he had 3 guards. We linked the 3 guards together using this domino power. And then she shut off this projector. And the boss was like, go turn that projector on. And one of the guards was like, okay. And then she went and hid Emily. Guy goes to turn the projector back on. The stun mine goes off, so he's stunned, right? The domino power makes it to where whatever happens to one target happens to all the targets. So when that one guard got stunned, even though the other 2 were across the room, they got stunned well. They share his fate. They're all linked in that way. That is awesome. You could come up with so many different ways to use that power. Tactically, there's just so many different options for that power on how to use it, lure guards in, which ones do you link, how much power do you have, because you have like I guess a mana bar would be the easiest way for me to say it, because I have a lot of RPG fans. It's like a mana bar, so you only have so much that you can use, and it stays, committed until it's over, until you cancel it or you don't need it anymore. Like Domino stays committed till you use it. At least that's how it was kind of in the first game. It was a power that was similar. There wasn't anything like this. Not like Domino. But it's just a really cool move. There are a lot of ways you could use that move. After that, they changed to another mission, and I thought this was really cool. Some people were like, whatever, and I don't get it. I think it's a super cool mechanic. You get this time gauntlet thing, and you can change time from past to present, and it comes out of your gauntlet like a fan, like this just a small fan. And while you're looking through the fan, you see things in the opposite timeline. So if you're in the past, while looking through that little bit of the fan that's on your arm, you see the present. You see what's happening, and vice versa. So what they did in the mission was there was a locked door in the present. So he went back into the past where it was open and walked through, and then shifted back. The other thing they did is you could also use it in combat. In the past, there are guards. Of course, in the present, it's not. You're in this abandoned building. So he's looking through and he can see where the guards are. Go behind a guard, shift, kill the guard or knock out, they killed, and then shift back in time. And then the guard from the past runs over to check on the guard of the past. You're in the present. Walk behind, shift time, kill, shift back. So not only is it a puzzle thing for this one area, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be, kind of in certain areas you're going to be able to use this special gauntlet. That's what it seemed like. Who knows? But I just thought it was another really cool mechanic. So they're adding things in to Dishonored 2. And I want to see just what all I can do with that mechanic, as it more than just puzzle. Emily's powers just seemed awesome, from that Shadow Walk and Domino power. I'll be really interested to see how Corvo's powers have changed. And that does it for Bethesda's press conference. They talked about a Dishonored 2 Collector's Edition that you can see. They didn't go over. It's just like, we do have a Dishonored 2 Collector's Edition. I think I still have somewhere. I actually have the Dishonored 1 Collector's Edition. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the Collector's Edition for Dishonored 2. And then they thanked all their studios that were working on games, which I thought was a pretty cool way to end the press conference. And that was it for Bethesda. So some final thoughts. Thought it's cool that they're bringing Quake back. The card game looks Hearthstone-like, but with a twist in there now. So I want to see how it plays. And it was just, to me, a really good Bethesda press conference. They talked about the things that they're working on. DLC, showed off the big game at the end. Everybody was looking forward to Dishonored 2. That was Bethesda's really big game for this year. And I think they hit Dishonored 2 out of the park. They showed a lot of gameplay. Talked about a little bit of the story. Got me really interested for Dishonored 2. I really enjoyed the first Dishonored game, even though it was really hard to get the, quote, good ending, unquote, because you had to be completely non-lethal, which was difficult because you didn't have a lot of tools for that. I want to see how they address that in this game, because it sounds like you're going to have the same type of kind of morale system in a way. Want to see how that plays out, but the gameplay itself looked like a ton of fun. So, really excited for that. All in all, some people, that I read were disappointed in the Bethesda press conference. I thought it was really good, personally. They talked a lot about stuff that's coming out. They didn't take time with, a lot of fluff and just other stuff like that. Just fluff. They focused on the games that are coming out, with one exception, which was Prey. But I still thought that was a really good idea, because Prey is something that they needed to talk about, because people were wondering about Prey 2, and to say, hey, we're working on it, we're rebranding it, we're making it this new, maybe survival thriller game, but here's a trailer, and look out for more on that later. But other than that, they talked about things that they're working on. And I really like that. Not things 50 years into the future. Things that will be coming out soon. One last note about Quake Champions. They said there'll be more at QuakeCon, which is in a few months. So you may learn release date then. They'll probably show off some characters and things like that. They just wanted to save that for QuakeCon, but announce that, hey, it's coming at E3 to start the hype train, which I thought was a good move. So I thought it was a good press conference overall. Was it the best press conference of E3? Well, you'll have to wait and see. Because up next was the next day. That was on Sunday. On Monday, Microsoft kicked off its press conference in the morning, and I'll be talking about my opinions on what they showed for that next time. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed me doing this look at Bethesda's E3 presser, please click the like button. Let me know that you enjoyed it, and that you'd like to see me maybe do more things like this in the future. I'm Cendril89. Remember to shoot for the stars, and take care, everyone.